Hey everybody, today I want to talk about why we decided not to have a traditional wedding. So many of you guys have been around for a really long time, know that my husband and I never had a wedding, but for most of you who are new and watching this, we didn't have a wedding. We are married, but we decided not to have a wedding, and it was something that I decided a really long time ago. So today I want to talk to you about why that happened. So I want to start off by saying I don't think weddings are bad. In fact, I love going to other people's weddings. I enjoy them very much, but I've just never really been a wedding person for myself. I've never dreamed about the perfect wedding dress or the perfect wedding day or what I would do if I had a wedding. I never went to weddings and thought, oh, maybe if I have a wedding someday, I'll use that idea, or I like that cake. That kind of stuff never crossed my mind. So reason number one for me is I'm just not a wedding gal. Reason number two is that it just didn't seem like it was worth all the stress and the money. When I first met my husband and we decided that we could get married, just that we were committed to each other as partners, we didn't really know if we actually wanted to get married. Because to us, it was just a piece of paper. The commitment was there. We were having a lot of fun together, and we knew where our hearts were. And so I had always told him, rather than buying me the engagement ring, rather than spending money on the wedding, let's travel the world. Let's do something fun together. And it's exactly what we did. The third reason is if it was my wedding, that would make me actually kind of nervous. My mom had to pull me tooth and nail to do a baby shower, and I actually had 2 baby showers the first time and 0 baby showers the second time. And maybe you don't even have a baby shower the second time. I don't even know how that works, but it's really hard for me to want to celebrate something where I am the center of attention or it's all about me. That's just not something that I'm really into. Even though we've been on YouTube for a really long time and I've been a performer, a dancer when I was younger, it's always something that's always made me really uncomfortable and nervous. So thinking about being at a wedding where everybody's there just for you, they're staring at you, and I don't know, that's just something that's not me. And our family in general, we tend not to celebrate the holidays, not because we don't believe in them or we don't like them. Obviously, we traveled for the holidays, but we don't make a big deal out of them. We participate in things that are present. If people invite us and ask us or welcome us to certain events or things, we obviously want to spend time with the people that we care about and cherish those moments. But as far as like getting decorative and buying things for holidays, setting things up, that's simply not something that I'm interested in. And it's really cool to be around people who are. I had a friend whose forte was that, and it allowed me to really learn to appreciate those things. She had an amazing wedding. There were amazing people. And if I had a wedding, I would want to do something very, very similar. And she was really good at getting creative to bring people around the holidays. So that's something that I try to work on as far as just being thoughtful and bringing people together. But, as far as celebrations or like traditions, that's something that I'm still not quite very good at. In my own personal life, my own personal experience practicing the philosophy of minimalism, a wedding isn't really something that is attractive to me just because it seems a little excessive. And again, it's not to say if a wedding is your thing or this was something that you wanted for yourself that that's a bad thing or that's not minimal. This is just something that applies to me and my reasons behind it. And so for me, it's already really tough on holidays or birthdays to kind of not ask for gifts or tell people that I really don't want anything. For some reason, people have a hard time really believing that or feeling okay with not getting gifts. And I completely understand that, but it's something where I don't want to bring more stuff in that may or may not add value to my life. I don't want people to have to spend their money or, kind of waste their time trying to shop for something that I may not like, need, or use. And so certain things in those aspects were not really appealing to me about having a wedding, going and picking a bunch of flowers and getting a lot of decorations and hauling everything in and having people get on airplanes and fly all around and, carbon footprint, all this stuff. And, you could look at that and say, well, that's just kind of a negative way to look at it, because I can see how weddings are magical. They bring people together. It's a fun way to celebrate 2 lives, 2 families coming together to get both families to meet. That is really awesome. I completely understand those aspects of it. But for us, it was just a lot more fun to utilize that money and travel the world, visiting all of our family and getting to know them on a one-on-one personal basis that way, rather than having to cater to 100 or hundreds of wedding attendees all in one weekend event. So that's just kind of my approach on it, and that's what I feel about it. But again, if you guys had a wedding or you want a wedding, that doesn't mean that it's non-minimal or that it's a bad thing. This is just simply my own perspective on how I feel about having a wedding for myself. So a lot of you might be wondering, if we didn't have a wedding, what did we do then? Well, initially when we got pregnant with our first child, we wanted to have the same family name. So I looked into just changing my family name so that we could all have the same. And that was just something that was important to me because I grew up with a brother who had a different family name and a mother who had a different family name, and I had a different family name, and it was just so different, and it was just a kind of confusing thing for me to have to go through in school and with people trying to figure out who my family was. And so I didn't want my child to have to go through the same thing. And for the same reason, it's why I named my children something very simple and very unique. On a side note, something that I'm not too concerned about if they want to change in the future or go by something else. It was just something that I wanted to make simple and easy and fun for them. So we decided to apply for the marriage certificate because taxes obviously have a lot of tax benefits in being a household family. And then as far as beneficiary benefits or sharing ownership of things, income, responsibilities, all that stuff just was so much easier and also way cheaper to just go and get a marriage license. So we went to the courthouse, and all we wanted to do was sign a piece of paper, but they actually made us read vows, and they weren't even vows that we wrote, so it just felt kind of silly reading them because it was just this piece of paper that they kind of forced us to read. And then they took us in this cubicle that had plastic awnings with plastic flowers, and there was actually a woman who walked in wearing like a robe, almost like a pastoral robe of sorts, and it was really fun and funny. It ended up being a really fun story for us to remember, so our wedding ended up being really memorable, or I should say our marriage, since it wasn't a wedding. But we actually did a video on it way back talking about it, and yeah, after that, it was like we walked out and nothing ever changed. Nothing ever happened. Our commitment stayed the same. Our love stayed the same. Our lifestyle stayed the same. The only difference now was I had to spend a lot of money to replace all my documentations, passports, cards, etc. So that's it for today. I just kind of wanted to share with you guys why I didn't want to have a wedding, why we didn't choose to. It's not to say that we might not throw a celebration. Like, I was just kind of thinking that maybe 10-year, 20-year would be a fun kind of occasion to get everybody together to celebrate, but it probably wouldn't turn out or look like a traditional wedding. So let me know your thoughts about wedding. Do you want one? Have you always dreamt of one? Are you on the fence, or do you not care about weddings? I'd be really interested to know, because from what I hear, it seems like a really common thing that most gals dream about their ideal wedding or their perfect wedding, and I just don't relate to that. So it'd be really cool to hear what your guys' perspectives are on it. And if you have any other questions or comments, let me know down below, and also hit the thumbs up if you like this video. I'm trying to figure out what kind of videos you guys like so I can bring you more quality content. So make sure you let me know by thumbs upping the videos that you like. And thanks so much for staying subscribed here. I will see you guys on the next video. Ciao.